hurricane, with COVID-19, I think the things that you would need to set aside, they differ. Now I'm a little bit conflicted on what should I put upon. I cannot put milk away just in case because we know they expire. Is it something that you think of? If yes, what kind of items do you put aside just in case something hit? Because if something happened, you may have $1 million in the bank, you may not be able to use them. What do you put aside that is handy? Something happened, you go down to your basement, you go to a bunker, and that you can use. Or maybe you don't do anything. You're like, you know what? I'm just taking it one day at a time. What happened, happened. So I'm just gonna live life. You are on mute. If you unmuted, you when you start your answer,
Yes.
you hold anything.
All right. What I would suggest people to have is non-perishable foods. All right, as much of it as possible. For because these items tend to last for long periods of time. Definitely some clothes. All right, things that you could pack away, yeah, and take with you at a moment's notice in cases of emergency. We do have non-perishable food here where we put to the side, and if we need, we just take it with us wherever we need. Always keep your gas tank full. Never keep it half full or almost empty. Always keep it full, because as I've said, you never know when certain things will happen. I remember back in 2008 how we had those long lines. Was it 2008? Yeah, 2008, right? Where we had those long lines on the gas station when we had that storm.
Yeah.
And I'm saying
2011, 2012.
2008. Oh, there we go.
2011, 2012.
You know what? Actually, I was thinking about the market. You're right,
Yeah.
Mova. So those long lines, I'm showing my age, right? You can, those
Fine.
long, you see those long lines. I remember staying online for like hours waiting for gas. I told myself never again. For perishable items, at least you'll have it available, not only for yourself, but for others that may need it as well. Definitely have funds in your house. Definitely have funds in your house, because you never know. Maybe the system might drop at a certain point. We don't know. Clothes, yes. Medical, medical. I have a first aid kit in my car, in my wife's car, as well as in the house. So I carry that with me as well. And and most of all, just make sure that you're on top of your health. Even though we're in this COVID-19, I'm constantly keeping updated with how I'm feeling, making sure I have the proper medication. I don't go, for anybody who has medication, take prescription, don't go for the 1 month, go for 3 months at a time. So that this way, if anything happens, at least you have 3 months supply of medication available for yourself. You know? And one other thing also, I just want to jump on what we spoke about with Marva. I agree with everything that Marva was saying, but there are other programs out there that could help people out there too, that most people don't know about. I mean, they hear about it, but they don't take advantage of it. For example, your mortgage. If you're struggling and so forth, reach out to your mortgage company. Let them know, hey, I'm struggling. Is there anything you could do for me? Suspend my payments, or even put my payments towards the end of my mortgage. All right, in order to go ahead and skip a couple months, you could do that. The other thing you could do is you could reach out to your church, to your pastors and so forth, and explain to them, hey, I'm struggling. Do you have anything you could help me out with? If it's not money, it doesn't have to deal with money, but it could deal with food. It could deal with referring you to somebody that could assist you. All right, pastors, that's what they're there for. They're in the community to help the community. The other thing is with credit agencies, certain credit agencies are helping out their clients. They understand that a lot of people has lost their job, or temporarily out of work. What do? They go ahead and, pause certain payments for a period of time. I know my Geico company, even though I don't need it, they still give me a certain discount, towards the premiums I was paying for the past couple of months. All right, so you're able to do that. For example, life insurance, New York Life, we did something special for our clients where we basically stopped premium payments for certain people for a period of time, and then we just extended we put them into a plan over a 12-month, so as much as a 24-month period. So these are the things that different companies are doing to help people out there, because they understand that if they don't help them out, what will end up happening is that not only will the individual suffer, but also the company will suffer as well. So they want to instill some kind of confidence, letting them know that, hey, we're there for you as well. The last thing also is that with retirement plans, you're able to take some funds out of your fund. I mean, out of your 401k or 403b or whatever type of retirement fund that you may have to a certain amount without any penalty. So you have that option available. So therefore, if you feel that you can't access those funds, that has been relaxed now. The government passed a law stating that you can go in your retirement plan and then draw as much as possible in order to support you for the period of time that you're going through. So therefore, if you ask the proper question, the answers will come to you in some ways.
So I know we talk a lot about natural disaster, right? But for many of you that, some of us have the personal disaster, like what COVID brought with it is the, death. A lot of people pass away. Some people, they have no life insurance or any type of asset for their family. Also, it brings sickness. Some people got disabled, that they were unable to work. So I know that, in what way can somebody prepare for that or make sure that they have the proper insurance or, at least some type of asset when those things happen, when the personal disaster happen, that they will have something or their family will have something to, have as a backup. Marva.
Well, there are many insurances for different types of reasons in this life. So the basic insurances that you should have in your life should be one, your medical and your dental and your life insurance and your disability. If you can, get yourself a long-term care policy. And if you can supplement the medical with what is called a supplemental insurance, like an AFLAC or a IFIC combined, that is excellent. So these insurances, so being in a life insurance business, you fulfill that gap, right? But oftentimes, 9 out of 10 situations, you're not going to die. You end up with some sort of disability. So disability is what replaces a certain percentage of your income. Supplemental disability also does the same thing, but quicker. And within 10 days, you get in a check. And that's where the AFLAC and combined comes in. So you need to have certain insurances in your life. It should be in your portfolio right along with your 401k and everything else that you do, because these things are what replace you. You're the one with the mortgage, the house, you're the one with the car and the children. So if something happens to you and your income, how else would you make it? So there are insurances that you can put in place in order to protect you from those things. With the pandemic, for the most part, if you became disabled because of the pandemic, you already had your disability policy. You already had, if you passed away and you had beneficiaries, your life insurance was already in place. You're covered. That was the decent thing about planning ahead. If you're just listening to this broadcast and just starting to get a feel and getting more information about insurance and insurance products, if you don't have these things and you're not ready yet financially, once you do get back on your feet, these are things to look into so that should something like this happen in the future, you'll be better prepared financially. And why not have somebody else foot the bill? If something happens to you right now and you're not covered, everything comes out of pocket. But if you're paying 10, 15% of your income into these insurance products, if something happens, now you have somebody else cutting you a check for the work that you did by paying them for whatever duration of time. So it's a benefit, and there are insurances out there to kind of cover a lot of the things that we go through in everyday life. You're on mute. Everybody.
You want to add something to that, Steve?
You're on mute.
Oh, you're on mute, Steve.
Yes, I do agree with everything that Mover has just said, and with the life insurance, with the health insurance. These are things that we all need. It just this is what you call replacement of income. You know, so if something happens to that individual, you know, at least that income will be replaced, whether it be through disability or through life insurance. But the goal is to be healthy, you know, and health insurance is something that you definitely must have. You know, could you believe what would happen, God forbid, if you caught the COVID? You know, no health insurance, you know, the bills will be skyrocketed. I mean, the other day I have health insurance, and the other day I took my son who cut his finger, and I guess trying to be Superman, and to the ER, I ended up having to pay a copay of $500. Mind you, I have good insurance, a $500 copay. I could have taken him into urgent care for maybe for $40 or something, you know, but that's what insurance affords us, which is that, hey, you know, you'll be able to pay. I mean, you have a portion that's taken care of, you know, and then you cover a small portion yourself, you know. So it's important to have these insurances to help you out in the long run, because when you have debt accumulating over a period of time, not only does it affect your pockets, but it affects your credit as well, because these things may be put on your credit report as well. And these are things that will affect you from getting a rental or purchasing a property or buying a car, you know. So it's something that goes down the line. So insurance is there to not only replace the lost income, but also to protect the family and anybody else that is behind you.
Thank you, Steve. Again, if you just tune in, you're watching the Black Table Show on the Black Wallet Network. And tonight's topic is how to get ready for when disaster hit, whether it's natural or man-made. We have Steve Mirtil with us and Marva Domingue all the way from the Poconos Mountain. I feel so jealous right now.
But
So
Franklin, I wanted to jump in because I know Marva mentioned about having like a 6 month saving, you know, for disaster time, because you know many of us, you know, we I don't think that we even have 1 month, or we live in paycheck to paycheck, or we want to live like the Jones, like they usually say. You know,
Yep.
we look at what other people do, they, you know, but we don't know their struggle. We look at the nice thing and say, okay, I'm gonna get the same car, I'm gonna get the same house, I'm gonna get this expensive clothes. So I really want us to really touch on that. Having, I think now it seems like even longer than 6 months, even a year, or even 2 years of saving, the way the economy is. So I just wanted to see if Steve could just add a little bit to that, you know, the importance of that.
Definitely, I would love to. Now, I'm a big believer. One of my favorite books that I like that I love is called The Richest Man in Babylon. All right, and it basically talks about incrementally putting away a certain amount of money towards certain things, you know, but paying yourself that 10%. I believe in that 10% rule, which means that, hey, you know, yes, I have all the bills, mortgages, all everything out there, but I will pay myself 10%. All right. So anything that comes out of my paycheck, 10%, I mean, any income that I make, 10% of it goes to me. When I mean by me, it goes to a 401k, it may go to a real estate investment, it may go to a mutual fund, stocks, whatever it may be. That person, even to a saving or checking account, it goes there. But when you talk about creating that 6 month period of protection, all right, God forbid something happens to you, you have 6 months income there. What you would love to do, just, you know, it's not something that could, and most people can do overnight. This is something that you build over a period of time. So you could dedicate maybe what, $100 a month, where every paycheck, a certain amount of money comes out of your paycheck and goes directly to one bank account every month until you reach that 6 month goal. Now you could have it where it's a dollar amount, or you could have it where it's a percentage amount. But at least a certain amount goes to that bank account. And you know what you do? Don't have anything come to your house. Make it paperless. You know, so you don't pay attention to it. All you know is that it's there. You know, that money, because if you know there's money accumulating in there, you know, and you look at it every time, you think that, hey, you know what, maybe I could borrow a little something here and there. You know, I'll put it back, but you never do. You know, you never do. Because once you take something out, it's kind of hard to put it back in again, especially if it's yours.
Hey,
So
should they just leave it in the bank? Because you say put it in the bank.
mhm.
You know, what type of account should they put in an investment, or they should put it in those what you call it, those saving thing that only
Saving.
give you a 0.5%, not even 1%?
Good question. Good question. You see, for me, I'm saying, because we're on the call, I'm saying the bank, right? But for me, what I do is that I open up a policy, a permanent policy for myself, and I contribute as much as I can, overfund it as much as I can, so that I could go ahead and have a permanent policy that gives a return back on what I put in.
A whole life.
That's what a whole life policy, exactly. All right, so that's what I would do myself. All right, but though most people, you know, they like to start off slow, and the bank is the start off slow, and then they could use that to go ahead and fund the whole life policy as well, and let it grow over a period of time. The things that could be your own personal bank over the long run. That could be your assets over the long run. All right.
Right. And I think also that's very good. Marva also mentioned when the system, if the system collapses, in the sense that your money in the bank you may not be able to reach it, you should also have some kind of fallback. I guess not under the mattress, I hope, Marva. That would be a dead giveaway.
I'm a little bit of an extremist when it comes to preparedness, to be honest with you. To piggyback on what is it that how do you get ready? Every member of this household has a central station that everybody gets dressed in. Everybody picks up their bag that's already made. What's in this bag is I've gone as far as buying the food, the prepackaged food, like the space food and the military food that you just add a little bit of water and you freeze dry food. That's in the bag. Knives are in the bag. We're all trained but professionally for firearms. There's one for every member in the family.
Okay.
We do take practice. We do everything on a healthy and mentally stable situation to be kosher, so to say, to make sure that we're prepared that way. We have small children, so we had to make sure that they are also ready, because you never know when they may have to defend you. But your bag should be ready. Your food should be in that bag for if you have to run, right? Making sure you have these foods here, and we keep them in rotation. Once a year, we have camping parties. Little things in order to recycle, because you don't want to lose them. You can't eat them after a certain amount of time. So there's that. There's cash. Always have cash on hand, and tradable items. If you have
tradable items, I think that's very good.
You also have to make sure that your jewelry's on you. Whatever it is that you want to wear on a daily basis, it's an emergency situation, because oftentimes when the worst things happen, it's you're not running to the bank immediately. And even if you do, the lines are so long. But if you got to run, if you really have to run, and this is where I become an extremist in matters, that's the last place I'm going, is the gas station and the bank. I'm getting my stuff and I'm getting out of Dodge. The sooner you get on the road for safety, the sooner you get to that shelter, that bunker, whatever it is that you're going, the better. It's not the time to be packing. That stuff should be there already. And every year, whatever we're not using, older stuff, like the kids are growing, whatever we don't use, we give away, and a rotation of the bag is done. It's a once a year. You know how we tell people, review your policies with your agent once a year, look through your finances, make sure you sit down with a financial professional and get that done once a year. You got to do it for yourself. Not only financially, you got to make sure that you're also emergency and tactically ready. It's a go. This is not the time to be arguing who's taking what, when, what, how, what. You got to go. Bags, let's go.
Right.
That is that type of situation. And so being ready is a planning thing, and it takes teamwork to get everything done. But you have to have fire drills, emergency.
Nice.
You always have to be aware of your surroundings and know how to comport yourself when you're outside together as a team.
Absolutely.
And then you have to fill your tank every night, because you mentioned about that's not the time to be going to the gas station before you.
My tank is always full. I come home, I fill up.
Yes,
you will never find my car idle. Frank, when have you ever hear me say, I gotta go get gas?
Yes.
Never. Always full.
you
So
Marva,
that bag that you're talking about, Malva, it's there's a known term for it. It's a bug out bag, and
Bug out
that's
bag.
what it is. Well, it's pretty well known in the camping world because obviously that's what you do. But I think for our community, that's probably something new that we should definitely talk about a little bit more. And also, every bag must be a replication of it for every member of a family. You cannot have the same counting on somebody else because you have to think if you
Right.
split, if you get, detached, so you really have to have everybody have the same thing in their survival kit, so to speak.
Yes.
Yes, and your medication also. I just want to add that, man. Medication, I guess you had to have it in different bag because just like you say, if somebody is missing, you have to separate your medication. So this way, if one bag is missing, you still have the same thing. You
That's
know.
right. Very good.
Yeah. Go ahead,
Those are
Frank.
those are very good things. But again, financially, I'm glad you brought it up, Marva. Always have trading items on you,
Right.
because
Yeah.
you never know. Money may not be your ticket to to the next town, and be very we might not be able to use money at some point.
Yeah.
But if you have an item of
Right.
value, you could trade it.
Yeah, I think food, everything, but also the other thing is I think protection. You gotta make sure you have
Oh, yeah.
protection
Oh well,
because
Frank, you know
yes,
very well about
yes,
that.
yes, disaster hit, everybody gonna try to get you for your food, everything.
Yep.
So protection number
But
one.
of course, those are the extreme that we're
Yes,
talking about.
extreme. Yes.
But we are
We're
not.
talking extremes, but if you excuse me while I interject,
Go ahead.
this it's an extreme, but it's a basic fundamental, right? Bags being ready,
Agree.
fine, okay. Depending on the emergency, certain things may not be warranted, right? But nowhere, no matter what, especially if you have children, and this is where people fail. I think a lot of families fail, and then they end up with certain situations they're not prepared for. Is that you got to train your kids as well. You got to educate them and let them know this is what happens when we're out here. This is how we comport ourselves and conduct ourselves so that you're one network. Because there's nothing more than going through a chaotic situation, having kids screaming, not knowing everybody's on a different path and everybody's thinking differently. Any emergency, everybody knows what's going on. The firearm, the knife, and protection and all of that stuff that is the extreme of things, but you got to know that outside of your home, heading into a shelter, you don't know what you're going to encounter. And especially if you're more prepared than somebody else, you should be aware and make sure that you can defend yourself, either verbally or physically. Make sure that you are prepared that way. Financially, back in the day, we used to all trade. It was, I give you a goat and I'll take three chickens and two turkeys. You understand what I mean? So trading items, like you were saying, are very, very, this is how we used to function back in the day. So making sure that you take things that are important that you can trade outside of monetary assets is what's key. But organization is where I wanted to go. That's really, really important, especially within your family. But that doesn't get done that day. It's a training, it's a constant process, like educating your kids. Always, always, always. They get the education from school, but outside of that, in case of any emergency, you should be mentally preparing yourselves and your kids for that situation as well.
Very good. Yes. Franklin, you want to jump in?
Steve mentioned about 10% of his monthly salary you set aside, but I keep thinking about those people that lives what we call live on a paycheck to paycheck situation. And sometimes it's in your mind because I have friends of mine that earns like two times less than what I'm earning, but the way they organize their expenses and revenue, they find a way to save money. So I don't know if it is something that it's in mentality or is it discipline So what would you say to someone who in his mind cannot put anything aside because they have rent, they have insurance, they have car payment, and then they have to buy food for their houses? How do they get to that level of budget where they can put something aside, even if it is $1 or $2? Because sometimes they get paid, you feel like they
Mm-hmm.
pay everything, they still don't have nothing. So how can someone balance what they earn with what they spend so they can put something aside?
Very good question. I love that question. All right, actually I was one of those individuals that thought like that. You know, I felt like I was living paycheck to paycheck, and I could never raise anything, even though I was making decent enough income. I had two jobs at times, three jobs at times, and I still felt like I was broke. But it's a mentality thing. It's a it's a thinking that whereas that you believe you can't do something. But when you put yourself on automatic, all right, on automatic in doing this, the first couple of months, it's gonna be hard. You know, you're gonna be like, oh my God, my check is maybe $50 less or $100 less. But guess what? Every other week, right? You're doing it, all of a sudden you just forget about it. You just automatically know that it's coming out and you don't even think about it anymore. And then all of a sudden, those little amount that's coming out of your paycheck on a weekly basis, right? All right, that's prior to your total income being taxed, by the way, okay? That's prior to your total income being taxed if you're doing it through a 401k, 403b, or any other type of retirement plan that involves that. Then the accumulation of it builds to a certain point. Could you imagine if you were doing $100 every 2 weeks, if you're getting paid on a weekly basis? I mean, $100 every 2 weeks, 2,600, right? You do that every year, and don't forget, if the company's matching it, also, if the company matches it to a certain point, that's added income that is added on top of that. Excuse me, added value that is added on top of the 2,600. So basically, what I'm saying is just that it's a mindset. You know, it's and whenever you're starting something, it's always difficult. It's always hard. You always believe that you can't do it. But once you just take that first step, you know, that first step, then it starts feeling like you're riding a bike. It starts feeling like, hey, you know what? Okay, it's becoming a little easier. Then all of a sudden you just forget about it. You know, the thing is that in the beginning, all right, it may be hard, but as time goes on, it gets a little easier. You just increase it a little bit more. Instead of putting 10% in, you just increase it to 11% because you went through the hard part already. Then you increase it to 12%, to, you know, as high as 15%, wherever you want to take it to, you know. But the thing is that you gotta understand that now on an annual basis, your income will increase, and with your income increasing, you should be able to put a little bit more away, and that's paying yourself. You know, you gotta pay yourself that 10% minimum.
So this question gonna go to Marva because Steve, you talk about you know, is a mindset. So the question gonna be, what are the personal investment someone could do to change that mindset? Not only just to change the mindset, but to help them earn more money, because I think like you guys say, it start with you. So you know, let's tackle the, you know, you. So what are the personal investments someone could do, you know, to change that?
Well, it's mostly a discipline thing for me. It takes 21 days to break a habit, any habit, right? I've got one of my home that I'm working on. But that being said, there are certain things that you can do if if you look at your budget and you're living a certain way and you're thinking, how can I save some money? You start probably having to cut back on certain things. If it's that Starbucks coffee that you have every day, if it's you stop that and make your own coffee and put it in a mug and take it with you so you can drink it throughout the day. Packing your own lunch saves money. You can't even get a meal at McDonald's for less than $10 anymore. It's crazy. But if you're eating out 3 times a day, you know, that's 30 or 40 bucks that you could have saved in a day. So when we first came here into this country, because we immigrated, right? My parents always packed us lunch and always had extra money. Like they made less than my cousin's family who was here for years and was able to buy a home within a couple of years where they were still renting. So certain habits have to be changed and you form new ones in their places, more healthy and financially productive choices, prioritizing differently, meaning, you know, do I need the internet cable in the phone, or do I just get the internet and stream instead of having all the extra? I already have a cell phone, so I don't need this particular phone in my house, or I don't need cable when I get stream. So you just get the internet. Now you're cutting your bills, you're cutting that bill a little bit. So you can cut back on a little bit on everything. You have to live. You know, you have to still enjoy life, but at the same time, you have to find ways of which you scale back some for the important things. Because if you're not prioritizing yourself and your family first, who is? Who can love you more than you? And financial love is healthy love.
Absolutely.
You gotta make sure that you're gonna be around to manage it.
I have to
Disciplining yourself really.
I don't know, she I can
Yes.
I have to make a comment because with COVID-19, I had a lot of people saying you have to live life. So as opposed to put money aside, you have to go on vacation, wear expensive clothes,
No.
expensive food. What do you
End
say?
of the world.
What do you say?
Hey, if that, but you know, we live in a country where we have the freedom to do practically everything, right? So to each his own. Prioritizing, that key word there is means something different to someone, to all different walks of life. If your priority is to eat lobster, wear Versace and those things, then that's you. And that's, you feel like you're living life and you don't, if you already saved and you've already read there. Sometimes we criticize and judge people not knowing their situation. They may be crying broke when they may not be. And there's some people that cry rich and they're not, like living, keeping up with the Joneses. So a lot of times people don't really tell us what they're going through. The idea of this and talking about this is so that you can be honest with yourself, you know? You've got to take a hard look at your budget and see and prioritize differently. So if eating out, partying, and living that life is your priority, then that's your priority. No one's going to judge you for it. I might criticize, but I won't judge you for it.
Got it.
But one thing
So-
I gotta add to that, it also is
Yes,
just
please
that
go ahead.
you have advisors. Marva, myself, we're advisors as well. If you feel that you can't, be disciplined enough to go ahead and sit down at the kitchen table with your husband or your significant other, and basically go over step by step of what we need to do, then guess what? Bring in the advisor. That's what we're here for. We're here to go ahead and help you, assist you, and direct you in the proper direction, and for you to make the final decision. All right. So
Yeah.
that is very important. And keep in mind, all right, in order to get to a certain point in life, right, we all need somebody by our sides. We all need somebody by our sides, and we are these individuals when it comes to leading individuals to the right to the water.
That's good.
While you guys, sorry, Vin, I just was gonna let Steve and Marva just give out your number, because if somebody needs to reach out to you and then get some information for you, regarding insurance and
Right.
so on.
All right, you got it, Marva.
Oh, Marva Doming, my number. I can be reached at 516-316-0405. That's always the best and quickest way to reach me on my cell. 516-316-0405.
All right, and my name is Steve Martil also, and my number is 917-753-3236, 917-753-3236.
That's very good. Let me remind everybody that this is the Black Table Show, and it is produced by Black Wallet. It's a network of business people and everybody in our community. Now, we spoke about individually, but I want to bring it around to business. We have a lot of business people here watching the show, and they struggling themselves, but we have the business also that's struggling, because that's the first time that I've ever known that the government would shut you down and tell you do not open stay closed. What are the stuff that are out there for business people that may or may know what to do now? May or may not have a saving for a 6 month, or we're talking about no income what at all, and you still have to pay your lease. You still have to pay your utility. Everything is still due. If you have lease, I mean, if you have equipment leases, you still have to pay them. I mean, they will tell you, okay, fine, we work with you, but the money is still owed. And as we all know, we're in July. From my understanding, anybody could jump in and correct me, but by August, there's no more what they call it again.
Stimulus pack. You mean the SBA loan? Or
No, the SBA loan, exactly. They extended it for one more
month?
month. But we're talking also about the rent. Rent is due.
Yeah. So let me add something, because
Yes.
I'm also a financial advisor, and then one of the things I think even before this thing happened, that which what I learned when they were training us, they talk about business succession plan, that each business must have one of those planning ahead of time, which what the succession plan cover. It cover many things: natural disaster, if one of the partner deceased or should get hurt or no longer able to do their part. So it also inform you on the proper insurance that you need to have in place. Many business doesn't even think of that. One of the insurance that you need to have is general liability insurance that will insure you if you have any business interruption. So in that case, that is one of the interruption that we have, where the government asks us to close. As a business owner, they ask you to close, then there's an interruption in your business, where most policy will cover that, which is the general liability policy. And then they also have where you're able to get life insurance on your business partner. So let's say, for instance, that your business partner passed away because of the COVID-19 or for any other reason, that you have a policy that will cover his contribution that he used to make to the business. So, I don't know if Steve or Marvin want to add to more than that when it comes to business.
More than that? I have nothing more to add to that. It's just that what you just said is so important. A lot of times when people go into business together, if something happens to one of the partners, it's not easy to sell the business, for one. All right. And the partner may want to keep the business, whereas that the family would want to sell the partner's portion. The deceased person's portion. So it is very important for both partners to have something on each other to protect the business, because you don't want to have the family to have to come in and make the decision for them. So, and not only that, but it's very important that the insurance that you have to go ahead and sell your portion off, it's tax-free. It doesn't get taxed. So therefore, you get more return than having to sell the business.
Marva, you want to add anything to that?
At the end of the day, with the small businesses, large businesses, and everything in between, depending on how your company's structured, you're gonna need to sit down with somebody, a financial professional, to really go through and to work with your accountant. This is not gonna be something that you can handle alone, or that even your financial professional can handle alone. It takes a network of people when it comes to business and business asset management. So just be aware, just reach out to someone that you know and trust, and that can guide you through taking advantage of whatever the government has to offer, and adding and filling in the gap with insurance and insurance products.
Definitely. I want to remind everybody that they are watching the Black Table Show on the Black Wallet Network. I wanted to add a little bit from what you guys said, individually for people who are struggling with the budget. So I know a lot of people who make good use of coupon. Some people say coupon. So
Yes.
I've seen people going to the supermarket and then they cut down a bill.
Yes.
You wanna be experiencing that is can help you save a lot of money. And there are a lot of resources, whatever your situation. There is a government program that can support you if you're buying your first home, if you are suffering from anything. So that's why experts like Steve and Marva are there to help you. Don't be afraid to talk to people. Somebody knows somebody who knows something. They can refer you to someone. They can refer you to a business that can help you. It's a lot of savings for you out there. You just have to know them. So somebody knows. So talk to people. And for business owners, we have the Black Wallet Network. It's an association of business owners. So it's not for one person, it's all of us coming together to help one another. So join us. Go to www.blackwallet.net. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Black Wallet Inc. We will connect you to those people. There are small business administration. They have a lot of things that business owners can use, the Department of Labor. So come join us, discuss with us, and then we will help you. We will guide you. If anything, we will connect you with someone who knows. If you want to know about businesses, we know Steve Mirtil. I put his number down and in this live. Marva's number is down, but if you forget it, you want to go to Facebook, you can just contact Black Wallet. So we will connect you to those people because our goal is to put us together. So everything we do remain in the community. So we buy
Mhm.
from people in the community and then we support the people in the community. So that's our goal. That's what we're doing. And then through this show, Black Table Show, we bring you everything. And we hope tonight you will learn what to do to protect yourself in case a disaster occurs. So I learned a lot. I hope you guys learned. There's still more to come. I don't know, Frank or Vince, if you
Yes,
have any question.
I
I
think
want to.
Frank, can you let us know the extension they gave?
Yeah, so I was gonna talk about it briefly before I go into the favorite part of the show, which is the book recommendation. But I'm gonna talk a little bit about it's Paycheck Protection Program, which is the PPP. I think they just extended to the end of August. I didn't get to really read on that. But from before, what is it? The Paycheck Protection Program is where the government give you a loan or grant for you to continue your business, like to continue paying your employee. And then the way it go, if you take 65% of that money to pay your employees, while they're home during this COVID-19, you're able to not pay the government back that money. So I know surely, that they're opening up again, as far as in New York. So I think one of the thing that the government asks is, if you don't come back, like why you getting paid, the employees, right? Why they're getting paid, once the business open back up, they need to come back to work, or else you won't be able to get that check anymore. And the other thing that they have for small business, which is the SBA loan, where they will lend you the money at a low interest rate, and they give you about 30 years to pay it back. And in the first year is you don't have to pay until like the following year. So that's one of right.
Let
I
me
have a question on that.
let me add the PPP, Paycheck Protection Program. It's not a grant; it's a loan. It's
Right.
a loan where you have 2 years to reimburse, and you have the chance to get a loan forgiveness from the government. So the rate for the loan is 1%, and you can forgive. They can forgive 100% or 80% of that loan for you if you use it right, because this a way for the government to support small businesses so you don't lay off people. So they want you to keep your employee hires. So they give you that loan so you can pay those people. So as Frank mentioned, 65 to 75% must go into payroll. The other things that could go into it is group health insurance. I'm not talking about your personal health insurance, be fancy because you have money. You can get mortgage interest payment deducted from that. I'm not talking about mortgage payment, mortgage interest payment. Even if you have your mortgage interest payment from your house, your own house, you can deduct it if you work from home. You can have a place of business, but you also work from home, you get the mortgage interest payment deducted from that. And then there'll be some utilities that you can use rent or something like that. But you have a period of 8 weeks to use that payroll and then to apply for the loan forgiveness. So if you use it for payroll, the group health insurance, the mortgage interest payment, and utilities, so you can apply for a loan forgiveness. Some people can get up to 100% of loan forgiveness if you use it right. The forms are there. We know how to do it. Contact Frank Bonhomme, contact Black Wallet. We will help you. And the small business loan application, that's a loan also. You get up to 30 years to reimburse. And then the rate is about 3.75%. Depending on your business, the structure, they determine how much money that you guys will be qualified for. Again, experts are there. When you get help, you get the maximum amount, and then you get all the benefits that comes with it. Don't think you can do it by yourself. And it's very, very difficult, and it's very delicate. When the government is gonna come back to check on those things, it's a lot of things that they are going to look at. So it's better to work with people who knows, work with the experts. I know Frank does the PPP, he does the SBA also. So we at Black Wallet, we know a lot about them, so we know how to support you. So contact us, we will tell you what to do. Steve, you wanna add anything?
Yes, just a quick question regarding the PPP. I've heard, I'm not sure, all right, but I've about this, but I've heard that one self-employed individual could get the PPP. Is that true?
Yes.
That's correct. They can.
You still
Wow,
pay.
that's an amazing program there.
Yes, it is.
Yes. And your payroll, they do not consider, if you hire a contractor to do something for you, you cannot include that as a payroll because a contractor can also apply for the PPE for itself.
Themselves. Right.
So they are considered employers.
But Frank, may I maybe you could clarify something for our audience here. Are you still because I have a feeling that there are a lot of people out there, businesses, small business, that don't know if they still can apply even if they have not filed.
They have not filed what?
They have not filed their taxes. That is. So there's still time to file your taxes.
Yes.
It's until the 15th. Well, you better position to talk about it.
Yes. So for the PPP, what they look at is they look at payroll taxes.
Right.
So you need to have filed your payroll taxes, or even now still be able to file your payroll taxes, even though you're filing them late, which you're gonna offer some late penalty for filing them late. But it's something that you need to do anyway. And then if you go into financial difficulty right now, you should file them, especially now, so you could be able to apply to get that the PPP. For the SBA, you have to file your corporation tax. Same thing too. If you haven't not filed, you still have time to file it. The deadline is July 15th.
And see, this way, there's no way you're gonna find a loan with 1% interest. The only downturn, it's only 2 years, but 1% interest to keep your staff going on, I think it's a good deal. And then if you do what you're supposed to do with it, 50%, 60, 70, up to 100% of this amount can be forgiven. So just work with people who knows, because the way you fill out the application is the way they are going to audit it. And if you get qualified for over $2 billion, that's automatic audit. So if you get less than that, they may or may not. But once you get $2 billion, they are going to check all the cross on the T's, the I, the dots on the I, everything. So the more you get, the more chance you get to be audited. So work with people who knows, because they can help you.
So now we're running out of time. We can't keep everybody here for so long, but this is the best part of the show, which is I'm asking everybody to recommend a book about the topic. I have several books that I read regarding investment, life insurance, and so on. But one of the books I wanted to talk about, or we recommend today on the show, is called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It's an old book. You guys could, one other thing I want to say, if you don't have time to read a book, just listen to it on Audible. This way you get to read more book or listen to more book. So I'm gonna go with Steve. Do you have a book you would like to recommend about the topic today?
Yes, the topic, the book I like to recommend is The Automatic Millionaire. It's called The Automatic Millionaire by David Beck, and basically puts your financial life on autopilot. That's what it speaks about, putting your financial life on autopilot. So if you're talking about raising funds for a checking account, for a vacation account, for a repair account, or even for an emergency account, it breaks it down for you on how to go about doing so. All right.
Marva, what book would you like to recommend about this topic today?
Off the top of my head, you guys listed the two, or mentioned the two that I had. I don't really have a recommendation for tonight. This is all new to us. So.
Okay, Mr. Van.
All right, so I know the financial experts are already here, and they give all the books that I don't have to list here. But one I'm gonna talk about it's called Edible Wild Plants. We're talking about getting prepared for disaster. You're out of food. You have to know what you're gonna find out there to eat. So Edible Wild Plant from Thomas Elias, Peter Dachman. That's a good book to have. It tells you what you can find, what you could eat, and if you're running out of food, you know what to do.
Mr. Franklin, what book you want to recommend?
Usually I recommend a movie because I'm much more of a movie person, just to batter Frank with his books. Audible. But tonight I'm going to recommend a book because this is something I do every time. So the title of the book is Sleep and Grow Rich, because every time I go to bed, I dream of being the wealthiest man in the world. So I
play the lotto. Play the lotto.
I don't think I'm that lucky.
Okay, and then now we're gonna do final thought, and just to, if you guys want to leave the audience with something, inspirational, or something that you guys forgot to mention early in the meeting. All right, Marva, your final thought.
Just to take some time for yourself and your family, go through your finances, do a checklist, and make sure that you're financially and emotionally ready for certain things. Seek proper help should you need it. And remember that nothing good or bad lasts forever.
Amen. Mr. Steve.
Yes. Well, thank you for having me here again. And I just want to keep it simple and just say that we all need to lean on each other, because by leaning on each other, we will take a little bit from one another in the hopes of growing in other areas that we are weak at. So I just want to say that if we do that, it'll make our journey a little bit easier. That's it.
Mr. Van.
Yes, recommendation is speak to someone in your network. That's why we have Black Wallet Network here. You may not know, you definitely don't know everything, but you may not know that what you're going through, someone else may have the solution or can point you to the right direction. So speak, share, ask question, and we have two very Marva and Steve. They are here for us. Call them. They will be able to talk to you, and if they don't know something, they could always refer you to someone else.
Mr. Franklin.
Franklin, this is now you finally right saying save the best for last. What I would say, there is always a way. No matter how difficult things could seem, there is a way. So do not think you will have all the solutions yourself. Talk to people. Someone always know better than you. So from the way things are going right now, the way the world is now, we need to come together. So you need to talk to people, tell them what you're looking for, and believe me, somebody will find a way to help you out. So don't be afraid to talk to people. It doesn't have to be financial. Sometimes you just need a friend to talk to, someone you need to vent to. So talk to people no matter what, because we have to support one another. We have to help each other. So don't be afraid to talk to people, reach out, talk about everything, and believe me, you will be satisfied.
All right, my final thought is for us not to try and live like other people. You know, don't let jealousy take you, because you know so many times that we cannot afford something, we see somebody have it, we want it. You know, your time will come when it is for you. You're gonna have it. You're not gonna worry about paying it because you're gonna have the money for it, and also invest in yourself. That's the best thing. Don't be afraid to invest in your education, you know, even self-improvement. And the other thing is save, and donate. When you give money to people, it does come back to you. That's the best investment. Even the people who don't believe in the Bible like to give people because they know that will come back to them. And then learn to take risks while you're young, because I'm talking about financial risk. You know, invest in something where you're gonna get a higher return now because this is the time to do it, and then later on so you could enjoy, you know, in that risk that you take. So everyone be blessed, and thank you, the panel.
Before you finish,
Yeah.
you said we need to share. Can you give me $500,000, please?
No problem. Once I make that money, that's it. I'll cut you a check. Help me make the money. I give you 500,000.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for having us. Have a good night.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
All right. God bless, guys. Take care.
God bless. Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Fuego fini?
Wait, hold on.
The recording break.
I'll call it. Let me. Marva, I will call you. All right.